spent a long time setting these podcast mics up. No, that's okay. Do you want to?
I think if it's noticeable on the camera.
Okay, go ahead. I'll get the lint roller.
Brush your shoulders off with like some dander or something. Gosh, you to brush your shoulders off. No, there really was dander though. Okay, it's probably as good as it's gonna get.
Should that be the name of the podcast?
It's as good as it's gonna get.
As good as it gets.
As good as it gets. That's a good one. I like that. Well, welcome to As Good as It Gets.
We're just gonna. I don't think that's what we're gonna call it.
I like it. As good as it gets. Life actually can continue and always will continue to get better. However, that's a whole other different thing. That's a bliss theory topic. So we are having a baby.
Yep.
And we are so excited about our little creature on the way, our little human. Finding out that I was pregnant was definitely a life-changing moment. It was a lot of surprises. I was just about to leave on a trip, and Zach, I really needed to tell Zach, but I wanted to do like something fun and do like a whole like package with like a little onesie, you know, that said I love daddy, or like, you know, a t-shirt or something. But I didn't have time to order all of that. I definitely didn't expect to be pregnant when I took the test. I didn't think it was going to say positive. But I did go get him a little cake that said I love daddy on it, or I love dad. I love you, dad. And I was able to surprise him, which is really sweet, and we'll release that footage at some point. But it was a very special moment and definitely brought tears to both of our eyes. And we just feel really lucky. I felt good for a couple of weeks, and then I was just like super sick. And I have a really amazing, great appreciation for mothers. And just, you know, like what I was telling Zach is like the mother's sacrifice, like starts so early on, like even before the child is like birthed, like, you know, and even if you don't have a lot of symptoms, your body's still changing. And like, that's a sacrifice in a lot of ways. It's a beautiful thing, but it can also be super challenging. So Zach you were really my like strong and steady during the first couple of months, and you still are, but you would always get me all the food that I needed, and it was a process. And I think a bonding thing in a way for us to go through all that together.
Yeah. You want to talk about the garlic story? I think.
I'm just kidding. So the garlic thing was definitely a moment that I'll probably never forget. Because I was so sick. I was like, no garlic in the house. Like we had to throw away. It was just like too much. The scent was just too crazy for me.
Yeah.
And it would make my gag reflex go wild.
Pregnancy nose.
Yes. And I was asleep, and that was like the worst way to be. I think that one of the top worst ways I've ever been woken up. And I've been woken up in a lot of bad ways. I have a twin brother who
you were so mad. You were like, you acted.
Well, yeah.
You acted like you were Caesar. And you had just been like betrayed by Brutus.
Yes. I mean, that was the level of like disdain that I had for the garlic. And I couldn't believe that you were trying to be all sneaky.
Betrayed.
And like make
cooking
yourself
garlic.
some like special nice meal when I'm sleeping. First of all, do you do that all the time? Do you
all the
make
time.
special meals while I'm sleeping with all these ingredients?
I'll have like, I only have like a timer. So I'll kind of look at my watch, kind of like a heist movie. And be like, okay, I have 30 minutes to make a filet mignon without Bliss waking up.
As long as you don't use
adding
garlic,
a little
you'll
bit of
probably
garlic
be able to get
butter.
away with it.
Oh no, plan foiled.
Oh gosh, yeah, it was just actually making my stomach turn even thinking about it.
I had
so
like
let's move on.
The worst part was that I had that month just developed, like, because I don't normally cook with that much garlic.
I know, honey, let's not talk about the garlic. Actually, it's making me feel kind of sick. I know. You were having like a hankering for it, and I was like, la.
But it was weird because I like it was the timing was so imperfect, right? Because I had just started like cooking with garlic. Yeah. Because I hadn't done that for like 2 years.
Oh, well, maybe in 2 years you can do it again.
That's a good segue because this podcast is brought to you by garlic.
You're so funny.
Okay. Should we talk about like our honeymoon?
Well, our honeymoon was excellent.
We can talk about our pregnancy scare. It wasn't scary.
Okay, it wasn't a pregnancy scare because the pregnancy test kept saying negative.
So I was convinced
and
our whole honeymoon.
I was in Dublin. I was trying to drink some Guinness, and Zach was like, "You better not." And I'm just like, the pregnancy tests are saying negative. It's fine, honey.
I was convinced you were pregnant on our honeymoon.
And I was not. And I knew that I was not. And I was like, no, we're just traveling. My body's going through something. But like when pregnancy test after pregnancy test after pregnancy test after pregnancy test is negative, like, you're not pregnant. I know, but I took like 10. 1 maybe, 2 maybe. But the probability has decreased to pretty much 0 by that point. That was pretty funny. I was kind of annoyed. I was like, just let me enjoy the European wine, okay? So, yeah.
Wow. It was your idea to start trying on our honeymoon.
Yeah, I guess it was.
Yeah.
I think we both had agreed, though, that
we
that was...
definitely did.
Yeah.
So, spring 2024, which is the year of the dragon in the Chinese New Year.
Oh,
so
I didn't know that.
This is going to be quite the fierce baby.
I think we knew it was going to be fierce either way.
Yeah, it's going to have the tenacity of their mother and the persistence of their father.
I think I'm pretty persistent too. So.
Yeah. What are you looking forward to most?
About the baby?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, just like watching and experience the world is going to be really beautiful. And I'm excited to see like the world again and like experience the world again, like through my child. I think that children have such like a beautiful, unique perspective on things, and they don't know the stressors of the day to day. They're not caught up in a routine. It's just like a pencil is so interesting to a baby. Their own toe is so intriguing to them. You know, they put everything in their mouth because they're trying to explore. And it's beautiful. And I think that mentality, we all should like revisit that mentality a lot in that perspective. And obviously I just want to like kiss its little feet and like, you know, help it to grow to be a good person. And I think that love that you experience with a child is supposed to be one of the greatest types of love ever. And just to be able to experience that is really exciting. So I feel grateful. How about you?
I can't wait to see Asher and Blythe.
Get
to know our baby.
I know.
I feel like Blythe is actually going to be really protective.
Yeah. Asher's going to be like its best playmate.
For the people who don't know, Asher and Blythe are our animals, our fur babies.
Asher's so you say animals. Asher's our doggy, our sweet doggy. Blythe's our kitten. What else? Or is that the most exciting thing for you?
I think a lot about how Asher and Blythe will
It's so cute.
Interact with them.
Because they're literally our children, and this is just an addition. You know, like people are always like, oh, you're not going to be as close to your animals. And like, I think that's just not true. Like if you're intentional about it, and
I agree.
That type of love that we already have for them is like such a deep love. So it's just we're growing our family. No one's going to be put second place. Like when you have another kid, it's not like that first kid just like, you're like, screw you, kid. I'm going to love the second one now, you know?
Well.
Like there's enough love. You know,
the oldest child might disagree. We'll have to ask your sister what she thinks.
I mean, how do you feel? You're an older child.
Yeah, but I was a lot older.
Which even is more impactful.
9 years.
But that's even more impactful because you had more time solo.
I feel like my personality, I really wouldn't have been much affected by it. Because
I think the older a kid is, the harder it is for them to have a new addition. Absolutely.
It wasn't for me.
No, but I think that's like you're kind of like an exception.
I was pretty excited. Did I ever tell you the story of how my mom told me about Alexa?
I don't think so.
Okay, so we were living in this little town or this little house in Ephrata, Washington, and we lived there like 3 times over the course of we left and then we moved back. And I remember I was watching SpongeBob SquarePants had like just came out on Nickelodeon, and I was so excited because I thought she was gonna come back with like a Power Ranger toy And like, I love the Power Rangers. When I was like 9 years old, I'd get up in the morning and watch them on Saturday. I remember one time we had the little antennas. You remember the bunny ears?
I don't think I ever had bunny ears, but okay. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, we had bunny ears. Yeah. And they weren't always the best. Sometimes like it'd get staticky and you'd lose the signal. Man, I remember the Power Rangers in Space season finale. And it was this big showdown.
Is this about their sisters?
No, but we'll get back there. It was, okay, so Power Rangers in Space. It was like waiting all night for the Power Rangers in Space season finale. I was so excited. It was a big deal. The entire galaxy was on the line. I didn't know who was going to win. The Power Rangers, Rita Repulsa, who knows?
There's always a chance the villain's going to win.
Yeah.
Especially when you're a kid. You're like, it could happen.
I got up and the bunny ears weren't working. And this wasn't like the time when you could go on TiVo.
Clearly, because you had bunny ears.
Right.
Clearly.
It was either you watched it or you never find out. Or you
had to wait for a rerun and you don't know when
you
that's going to happen.
You got to find out and ask the local third graders, you know, like, hey, what happened? Who won?
So sad.
That's actually what happened. I ended up just crying because I couldn't get it fixed. And I can only imagine my poor mother. And it's like, I don't know, like 7 a.m. in the morning. You know what? Even as a kid, getting up early was rough. The only thing that would get me up early as a kid was Saturday cartoons.
Not even his own wife, you guys. Just Power Rangers. Maybe I need to get some Power Rangers on TV.
Now it's jiu-jitsu, same thing. So one time, my very first fight as a kid, I was...
No, I'm just laughing. Go ahead.
Okay. My very first fight as a kid, it was the Power Rangers, so I'd go out there and I'd pretend that I was a Power Ranger, but the other kid didn't know, right? And he was like twice my size. And
he didn't know you were pretending to be a Power Ranger?
He didn't. I was like, you want to fight? He's
like, thought you were being serious.
And he's like, sure. And I thought fight was like play, but he thought fight was like fight. So he kicked me. This fight, I think I was like 3 or 4 years old. I was small enough that I went flying through the yard, and my mom came out running and chasing the other kid, like, get out of here! What are you doing? But anyways, okay, back to SpongeBob. So
yeah,
I'm waiting, and my mom comes back, and she's like, "It's a movie," and she pulls the movie out, and I was like, "Oh, okay. Like, what is it? Is it Aladdin?" Because she'd get me these VHS like Disney movie collections, and so she puts it in, and it's an ultrasound. I don't know what an ultrasounder is.
You're like, what's this?
I'm 9 years old.
Yeah. You're like, okay.
She's
cool.
like, what do you think it is? Like, I don't know, Mom. She's like, it's your sister. I was pretty excited.
That's really special, actually.
Getting it on VHS, getting your ultrasound on VHS.
How does one even go about that? You guys, look it up for us.
It's probably not something people do anymore.
No, I mean, like,
we should do that. We should go do the ultrasound tech and be like, hey, can we get this on VHS, please?
Oh my God, they're like incompatible. No, but that's really sweet. She obviously wanted to make it really special for you.
Yeah.
You're her baby. You are her baby. Yeah. How do you think she would feel about the baby?
My gosh. She'd be obsessed. She probably would have watched Love is Blind like at least 100 times.
Like my mom,
yeah.
We call her and she's like, don't ask me what I'm doing. I'm like, well, now I'm going to ask what you're doing. What are you doing? She's like, I'm watching Love is Blind. I'm like, oh my God, you're the reason. Like, you're the reason why I got so many viewed minutes. Yeah, she probably would have.
Yeah.
I think she would have been surprised.
I don't know.
Just in the way that you got married.
She probably would have cried.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would have been nice to have seen, actually.
Yeah. Well, she's our baby's little guardian angel, She gets to be with the baby at any point she wants to and check in on you and Emmy and Alexa. And, I definitely want to make sure that we tell the baby stories about your mom and, like, have it be a person to them, that they know through your stories and pictures and stuff. So
yeah, it's exciting. I can't wait for your mom to get to. I am really excited about that. I'm so thankful to have your family.
I'm thankful for your family.
I married into the best family possible.
That's how I feel about your family. Your family's so wonderful and like so incredibly welcoming, and they really love you, and like your grandparents adore you, and your sister really, really, I know, is so excited for us and for you, and you have a wonderful family. I think we both got lucky on the family front for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a beautiful thing. This baby is super lucky. It's going to be, what do you think the baby's going to think about, like, when we tell them, when they kind of like old enough to find out how we met, and like how they have to tell people, because people are like, how did your parents meet, and I'm like, oh, my parents met in college, that's what my story is, and yours is like what, at a party?
What do you mean?
Like your story about how your parents met.
There's different versions of this.
Trust the mom version.
So the way they met at a party, but they didn't meet at the party. So my dad had saw my mother, and he went up to like one of her best friends and was like, hey, I really want to have a date with her. My dad is like,
your dad had no game. Hey, I want to have a date with your friend.
I'm sure he said it. According to him, yeah, my dad has a much cooler version
like,
of this.
Hey, what's your friend's name? It's probably more.
I'm sure.
Hopefully.
Anyways, so my dad.
Hey, I want to have a date with your friend. No, I don't think I'm gonna recommend you.
Anyways, well, obviously it worked out because I'm here.
No, obviously it did. I'm so grateful it did. I'm just going to shut up and let you tell the story.
Yeah. So my dad went up to her friend and was like, I'd really like to get a date with her. And she's like, okay, well, you got to let me drive your car for a week. So my dad had...
Did he have a cool car?
He had a Barracuda. Yeah.
Ooh, Barracuda.
And so he gave his Barracuda to this random woman for a week to use.
Wild.
For a date with my mom.
So what did he pick her up and did he walk?
I don't know. I have to imagine that wasn't the case.
He used her car.
I'll have to ask him about that, but yeah, that was how
so she introduced
came into existence. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fun story. You want to know my story or my parents?
How'd your parents meet?
Did I ever tell you? I don't think I have.
I don't know if we talked about this.
Yeah, so they were in college, and they met in an acting class.
Oh, you did tell me this, actually.
Yeah, isn't that funny?
Go ahead and tell the story, though.
And my dad, I guess, was like, you had to like go up in front of the class and pretend that you were like doing something, and he decided to do taking a shower, and so he was like cleaning himself, and my mom was like, that is so stupid. But I guess he really.
I can't imagine your dad in an acting class.
He was like 17 years old. This was like because he left high school early and went to college, and it was just like an elective class. They weren't majoring in acting or anything. But I just
couldn't see it.
I know,
yeah.
right? He can be funny, but yeah. So I mean, this was like teenage my dad, so obviously like a different vibe. But maturity level much different. But yeah, so that's how they met in Arizona.
How do you feel about announcing the 2 days? We're 2 days away from announcing our pregnancy. How do you feel about it?
I have mixed feelings. I'm excited to be able to share with the world and to feel okay at the grocery store, like not wearing super baggy clothes, and just to be like really embracing and sharing this beautiful thing with the world. It's also always like a little scary to continue to be vulnerable with the public, and especially with something so like special and like important as your child. And I just want people to be respectful of the other couples that either don't want to have a baby or haven't had a baby yet, or are waiting, or having, whatever their story is. Everyone's journey is so different to parenthood, and sometimes people don't want to be parents. And I just don't want people to compare I think that will probably happen either way, but I have a tendency to be extremely empathetic.
Yeah.
And kind of take on other people's feelings about things. And I just want to be, I know that we're going to handle it as respectfully as we can. And I hope that everyone's excited and happy for us. And there's always going to be those people, those haters. There's always those. But honestly, I think we've been so lucky in like all the support and positive, things that we've gotten from the public. And I'm excited to be able to kind of like talk more about motherhood and being a mom and that journey to that. And I'm excited to come out of hiding. It's definitely not easy to hide this bump at this point. So
yeah, for me, I don't know if announcing to the public is going to change much for me. I agree with you. You see people say things like, I can't wait till you two make a family. And I feel like a baby doesn't make a family, right?
A baby adds to the family.
And a baby adds to a family. And we have a family right now.
Me and you.
And our family is beautiful.
Me and you. And then our little animals.
And
our little doggy and our kitten. And even if it's just a wife and a husband, like you say, or even just partners.
Right.
Whatever that, partners in any sort of way, that can be a family without having offspring.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But we are excited. Spring 2024.
Yeah, and we're doing the gender reveal here in about a month.
We should talk about that.
Should we?
Yeah.
Next episode.
Oh, all right. I love you, baby.
Whole episode. I love you too.
Give me a kiss. Don't high five me.